everyone, so today we are going to talk about a freedom number. Oh, what is that? Well, this is a concept that I originally heard from, I think it was Tony Robbins, I'm not sure. But it's pretty much the amount of money, either income or wealth, that you would need before you just there's different levels of freedom numbers, but before you would quit your job, before you would consider not working at all, before you would be happy, before you would be, all your dreams would come true. There's different levels of this that we're gonna go through here. And I'm gonna explain to you what my freedom numbers are too, what it is for most people, what it is for me. There's a big difference. Because I have pretty high expectations. So freedom number. So, as I've mentioned in my other videos, the average personal income in the United States, despite what most people think, is $31,000. I don't want to dwell on this because I've written this tons of times before. Average household income is around $48,000, including husband and wife. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. You can look at my other videos if you want to know more. So that's pretty much what the average adult working American makes, whether it's full-time or part-time or whatever. So, I mean, $31,000 to $48,000, that's not good. I mean, right now, I'm probably gonna make that in a couple months, which is ridiculous for someone who's 23 years old. And I'm telling you, that's not a lot of money to live off of, especially if you get taxed. Here in Canada, your tax is 40%. Or I guess for what that, it'd be around 30 or 20 or 30. But you make more than that, you're gonna get taxed at 40 or 50%. So anyways, I'm ranting here. Your freedom number, so for a lot of people, I'm gonna cover income first and then wealth, which are two different things. Income is the amount of money you make per year, and then wealth is savings, essentially. How much what are your assets worth? Usually someone can have, millions of dollars in wealth and have zero income. And someone can have a lot of income if they get a new job, but no wealth. They're two different things here. So for the average person, a freedom number there's actually a happiness number. So before most people are happy, that number is $70,000, 70K. That's what everyone should aim for, this number right here. If you can get 70K, that's generally when you get happiness from your income specifically. So that's the first freedom number when you're okay, I like this job, I like my life, I like everything. 70K per year. And then the next kind of level, which is you can do a lot more things than you were able to. The next income level is what I should say, when you can start building a large passive income that you can retire from. You need a general income of about $150,000. That's when you don't have to think about finances, you don't have to think about your bills, you don't have to think about your mortgage. It'll all get paid for, you're making lots of money. That's what that number is too. And you're investing in stocks and real estate. That's when all of this starts to happen, $150,000. I mean, it can start at 120, it's gonna for me this year, but hopefully if I can hit that, that's my goal. But, and then there's kind of this next number where this is where your dreams start to come true number, which is the $400,000 mark. So $400,000, for those of you that don't know, is the entry level for the 1%. The lowest level of 1% in the United States is $400,000. Do you know what the lowest level for the 1% income earners of the world is? $31,000. The average American is in the 1% of the world. Interesting, right? So this is the dream zone. This is where you can buy whatever the fuck you want. You can do whatever. You want that Lamborghini for $100K? Sure, you can get a car financed. It's no problem. So $150,000 was comfort, and $70K was happiness. These are different levels. So these are you start to live your dream life. And then there's the next level up. And this is for most people, it's $1 million. $1 million a year. And I call this baller. This is you can do whatever the fuck you want at any time. I know in terms of, I've met a lot of people that have done $1 million a year, like in terms of people I've had to meet for business and stuff. But I've only, in terms of people in my own life, there's only been, I think that only one person has made $500,000 or more a year. There's only been one person, and he's never home, by the way. But there's only, yeah, so that's like baller territory right now for most people. And then you get into, by the way, I think that also the fuck you money, the dream money is also called the fuck you money. So when you make $400K a year, I forgot to mention this. When you make $400,000, you get to that level where if someone asks you to do something, maybe it's, I don't know, someone wants to do speaking and you don't want to do it, or someone's not paying you enough for a client, you don't like a client or something, you could just say, fuck you, I don't need your money. There's a good, what's that movie? Oh, it's with John Goodman has this monologue. Go look it up. John Goodman, fuck you monologue. And it's with Mark Wahlberg. I forget what it is. It's that gambling movie. But yeah, he goes on this 1 minute rant about fuck you money. It's great. So, and then $1 million is baller. And then, so if you make $1 million or more a year, you're like in the 0.1%, okay? So you're a baller, and then anything more than 10 million plus for most people is like anything you want comes true. This is like, I don't even know how to explain it. You got all your like dreams, your practical dreams, I guess I should say. This should be practical dreams for 400K. And then your $10 million plus dream should be like, I don't even know, impractical dreams, $10 million plus. Impractical. There we go. So this is like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that private jet. By the way, private jets are only like 500 grand, entry level ones. Sometimes they're cheaper, but like a nice one you can get for $1 million, and you can get them financed. Just saying, that's on my list. Gary Vaynerchuk wants to buy the jets. I want to buy a plane. That's my goal. So yeah, $1 million these are kind of the freedom numbers for income for the average person. Now, I'm gonna tell you my numbers. So I kind of have higher expectations, but I also have like less, I'm gonna give you a general overview. My happiness number, I think, is $120,000. I've looked at it over just in terms of the lifestyle that I'd like and the amount of, I don't know, expenses I'd like to have. $120,000 is happiness for me. What is it for you guys? The average, it's around 70K. So 120K is happiness. For me, comfort, never having to think about anything is 200K. So that's comfort. This is like never having to think about any bills or expenses ever. And then get into the impractical. See, I have bigger dreams than I think most people do. That's just kind of how I think, I guess. For me, it's $1 million. My practical dreams are like the plane. That's what I was mentioning. My practical dreams start at $1 million a year or more of income. And I think that's going to happen one day, but we'll see. Now, the next level up, my baller territory, isn't that much more. It's probably about, $2 million. I mean, my practical dreams are, similar to my baller dreams. And then my impractical is probably, in terms of income, it's probably around 20 million a year. Something that I might be able to hit, based on how growth is going in the past few years. If that were to happen by the time I'm 40, I wouldn't be too surprised. I'd be a little bit surprised, but I wouldn't be too surprised. $20 million, impractical dreams. But here's the difference. I know a lot of you are probably laughing. Like $20 million, sure. I probably will never hit that. $20 million or more in a year. But I wouldn't be too surprised if I didn't. And I think that I'm going to work a lot harder to get towards that than most of you guys. That's just the way it is. Now, some of you are going to be hard workers. Some of you are born in shitty situations, which I'm making a video on, by the way. Can anyone get rich? That's the next video coming out. Or it might already be out. Sorry, I sometimes upload these in weird orders. So Yeah. That's my income level. So if I could have an income of like $1 million, that's kind of my goal. That's my end game goal where I'd be like, yeah, I fucking made it. That's about $3,000 a day. And you know what? I just need to, according to Grant Cardone, that's like 10xing my income right now. Actually, wow, shit, I'm a lot closer than I thought. Oh my God. Grant Cardone's like 10x thing. I've already 10x'd my income before. But if I'm projected to do 100 grand this year, then $1 million, I'll have to come up with some sort of other way to increase my business, but I'll, one thing at a time, right? So now we're going to talk about freedom numbers for wealth. So what is it for you? So wealth is like, generally people think of when you have enough wealth, that's when people start to think about retiring. Now me, I know I'm never going to retire fully. My plan, if all things were great, what I would be doing is I would have enough money saved up, which is a lot of money for me, by the way, and I'd just go around doing speaking gigs. That's what I like doing. I like speaking. I have all of these videos, by the way, they're all improv. You can probably tell. Some of you think that I have like fucking paragraphs written out. No, this is just me like spitballing. I don't have any notes. I wish I could turn the camera around. It's pretty big. I don't have any notes around. Nowhere. Sometimes I have numbers written out, but that's it. So what is your freedom number? If it were up to me, yeah, I would just be going around doing speaking gigs and honestly just making some videos and stuff. Like that's what I like doing. I like videos. Now, luckily, that's half my job already. Kind of. Actually, it's not half my income though. It's not even close, videos. But anyways, so for most people, they want to be millionaires, but that's like dream. Now, I should say, actually, do you know how much the average American has in savings? This isn't including assets, but in savings, it's like around $2,000. I mean, I think it's less. I think it's $1,000 in terms of like money they have that they could spend for emergencies. So most people have to take out loans, which is sad. So it's $2,000. Average American. Now, if you include the assets in the home, I mean, this number is probably around 20 to 40,000. This is just a guess. I haven't looked this number up, but my guess would be around the average American has around 20 to 40,000. Average working adult. Because we live in an age now where the majority of people don't own their homes. Average young adult and average adult doesn't own their homes. It's just the way it is. So all of a sudden, people don't have savings, as mentioned here, and they don't have any equity, any investments. So just keep that in mind. The average American pretty much doesn't have a lot of wealth. I mean, they might have a car, sure. They might have, again, $20,000 to $40,000. They might have a car. They might have some cameras that are worth something, TVs, whatever, furniture, all that shit. But you know what? Average Americans don't have a lot of money. It's just the way it is. So a lot of people, their happiness number, if you have $100,000, that's like when you start to feel happiness. You're not comfortable at all. A lot of people have $100,000 in wealth, not comfortable at all. So 100K is when people start to become happy. Like, hey, I've done something with my life, right? If you're a young adult and you have 100K in assets, you're probably like, hey, I've done pretty well. Now, when comfort begins to set in, this isn't the comfort number, but when comfort starts to set in is 500,000. That's like you own your house kind of thing. So like this is, you don't have a mortgage and you have enough wealth where it's like, okay, like I could, if worst comes to worst, I could sell my house and live comfortably for 5-10 years, right? And then a lot of Americans think that the magic number is $1 million. Did you know that to be a millionaire is not $1 million a year in income? It is $1 million in wealth, which for the average person in my hometown of 100,000 people, the average person is technically a millionaire because the average home price is $1.2 million in my entire fucking city. 1.2, sorry, that is another story. I grew up in, when my city when it was a town when I grew up here, it was like 50, 60,000 people. Like there was so much farms and there was grass everywhere. And all of a sudden it doubled and almost tripled in population in 15 years. And everyone's home prices went from, I think the average when I was a kid was 470,000, and now it's 1.2 million. That's just what happens sometimes in real estate. You get lucky. But anyways, $1 million, this is what a lot of people think is when their dreams come true. I'm gonna write that in, but that is such bullshit. That's not true. $1 million, that's only the difference between owning your house and owning a nice house. That's what that is. And like, it's good. It's good. You probably own a car in here. You probably own a nice SUV. I own an SUV though. You probably own a nice SUV, a nice house. Maybe you own 2 cars. You probably live in the suburbs somewhere in some cul-de-sac. I mean, you're probably like, you're beyond comfortable and you're living like what the middle class of like the 1950s lifestyle would be today, right? But you know, obviously the middle class cannot afford $1 million house right now. It's just the way it is, the way the world is. So the next level is this is the practical dream, up here. And then the next level is baller. Baller, I think that most people think of as $10 million or more, the multimillionaires. So this is baller. This is people, they got the Lamborghini, they got the house, they got the cottage on the water, right? They got everything they want. They go to expensive dinners. They got, what else do they have in assets? They probably own their own business, own a lot of stocks, own a lot of mutual funds if they don't want to invest in stocks. All that stuff, right? And like that's approaching baller level. But you know what? I mean, I've met people have a net worth of $10 million and like they are still fucking stressed out as hell because their business could go to zero. Their business could go to zero in weeks. And I know some that are, I don't want to say struggling to get by, but with their lifestyle, they're struggling to get by. I mean, they want the condos in the city. I mean, they want to go to every fucking game. They want box seats to every single sporting event, right? Like they have a high lifestyle, but you know what? They have a good business, and I don't know. If worst comes to worst, they could still survive, just not with their current lifestyle, right? Oh fuck! Some of those people bother me. I'm swearing a lot in this video. I'm sorry. And so for most people, this is the impractical dreams, the $100 million mark. Impractical dreams. Oh shit! I wrote that wrong. Impractical dreams. So, impractical dreams are like you get to fucking have a partial ownership in a sports team. Or, you know, you get to own your plane. You get to own a yacht. Maybe you have a $5 million yacht and a $5 million house, $10 million house, right? But it's probably, if you're worth $100 million, odds are probably half of it's in a business of some sort, or else how else are you going to make your money unless you're a hedge fund guy or something, right? But again, like $100 million, that's where most people's impractical dreams are. And I'm going to share mine and then we'll close this video out here. So, by the way, I think that my freedom numbers are where you should set yours to be. And you know what? I always talk to my girlfriend about this. So, when we started dating last year, the only thing that she thought of me as intimidating, which was because I had all these big dreams and I was starting all these businesses and stuff with her. I mean, not with her. I mean, like I was starting them and she was there. She's not part of the businesses. But she found that it was like intimidating because I had all these big dreams and all this stuff. And I think that she's like most people in terms of financial dreams, in terms of like what I just mentioned, like it's impractical. Or like your dream started at $1 million. Like if I can make $1 million, that'd be amazing. Oh my God. If I had $1 million house, I'd be set. I'd be so good. And I'm like, no, You know what? My family grew up like that, and my expectations are so much higher. Sure. Actually, I'm gonna go on a quick tangent here. Like my parents did well. They were both making six figures when I was a kid. Now my dad became fully paralyzed. He can't really move. He's like 80% of all of his movements and his vision, all that. It's all gone. 80% of everything is gone. So, and then unfortunately, my mom quit her job right before that happened. And so we went from like living baller lifestyle, family making, $350,000 a year household income approaching the 1%, pretty much in the 1%. At that time, I guess it would have been 1% at the time. $350,000 10 years ago we're in the 1%. And we moved into $1 million house before all the prices went up. And guess what? Like it's great. It's comfortable. You can have a good, great, amazing lifestyle. You can, if there's anything at the store that's $50, you don't have to think about it. You just go and you buy it, right? You don't have to think about the dinner with your friends that's $100. You can pay for everyone for $100, $150, right? And not have to think about it. It's like, oh, that's not even close to a day's pay. It's good and it's great, but it's not glamorous, is what I'm trying to say. It's a $1 million lifestyle. Like we probably had a net worth of $2 million to $3 million, I want to say, but that's just a guess. I'd have to ask my parents. Maybe I'll ask them. I might put a video on my website actually of talking to my parents about that stuff. Hopefully you guys will be able to understand my dad. He can't really talk very well. So where was I with this? My numbers. So my expectations are a lot higher. So my happiness number for wealth, I think, would start to set in around $500,000. A lot more than most people. I mean, that's where I'd be like, I'd own my own house, business would be okay, all that stuff. I think that where my comfort level would begin to set in is somewhere around $1 million. That's where I'd be like, okay, this is fine. Like, I don't have to worry about anything. I have $1 million in assets. Now this is where the practical dreams start to set in. I seriously have a practical dream, and my girlfriend always is like, oh, she gets intimidated, is 10, oh, sorry, I shouldn't write K at the end of these. This is dollars. $10 million is my impractical dreams. I won't even write it there. That's my number, $10 million. That's what I think I can attain. And I've always said that to her too, like, I think I'm probably going to make $10 million. That's just the way it is. Now, where the baller level sets in, for me, is somewhere around 25 million. Actually, to be honest, thinking about this, no, we're going to go higher, because 10 and 25, I think baller level is probably closer to 50. $50 million. That's where, like, yeah, I'm a fucking baller. I can do whatever I want. I got the nice everything, perfect everything. Now, the impractical dreams for me in terms of wealth is a number that like not a lot of people will ever reach in their lifetime, but this is my number. It's mine. I've always had the aspiration for $1 billion. But here's the problem with that for me. Currently with my business stuff, I don't have an employee right now. I have people that will occasionally do some work for me that I'll, pitch, whatever, $15, $20, $25 to do, something that'll take a few minutes to do that I can't. Like occasionally do something like that. But, oh, sorry, I didn't even write more zeros here. In order to be a billionaire, you have to have a bigger company and you have to have people under you and have a system all set up. You can't be, there's never been a one-person billionaire, right? There's been some people who've won the lottery that won $300 million here. There's been some hedge fund guys that have made $1 billion in their life. But in terms of your own business, like I would consider in my field, like I don't even know what's in my fucking field. I consider Grant Cardone, he's approaching $300 million in assets. Like he's doing pretty well. I'm sure that there's others out there, but like in order for me to hit $1 billion, I would need to set up a bigger system than I'm currently in right now. It would have to be a different business. I think that the peak of this whole real estate, like real estate agent, and real estate investments can go on forever. But I'm talking about real estate like agent, broker, online stuff, YouTube stuff. I think that it peaks out at around $10 million. That's just a guess in my mind. But saying that, it's probably more because like I know Tai Lopez, for example. I did the math on him. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna share something about Tai Lopez quickly. So I was just looking, I like doing research on all those people, marketers that, make a lot of money. So Tai Lopez, he, just doing some math here. He has almost 200,000 members on his monthly membership, which is $67 a month. Do math right there, a month. This is a month, okay? So we're just gonna round this to $70, okay? Just so it's easier for math for me. Anyone know what that number comes out to per month? 14 million. A month. A month. A fucking month. So I don't know if this is his exact numbers, but on his site he says these are the members that have registered, and I know for a fact that this is his program. It's $67 a month. $14 million a month. Do that on a per year basis. I don't think that he's making $100 million a year. To be honest, I think that this number here is inflated and doesn't apply to the $67 a month. I think that he probably has, I don't know, 50,000 people signed up per month maybe. But if this number were true, $14 million over 12 months, let's see, doing some math there, that is that'd be like 168 million, which is way more than he has made this year. But saying that, I know that his ads, I know that he spent over $21 million in ads for a fact per year. So maybe he is making close to $100 million. I don't know. But my guess would be that this number is probably 1/4. Probably he's making 40 million. That'd be a guess. This is just a random guess. Hopefully he doesn't sue me. This is all alleged stuff. But like maybe that's the peak. Maybe it's $50 million a year. I don't know. Is Tai Lopez in my field? He says he invested in real estate and he does online education stuff. So maybe he is in my field. Maybe that is the peak. So that's all I really wanted to talk about in this video. It's a long video. Shit, I might be running out of memory here. Oh my God, I can't even make another video. I completely ran out of memory. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching. You are all very beautiful people. I'll see you guys in the next video. Or not.